What's up, guys? Jay here with Tap and Turn Gaming, and welcome back to Unboxing Fridays. Today we will be doing an unboxing of the brand new Duel deck that just came out today, Speed versus Cunning. So let's just take a quick look at the two cards that are front and center here. The first one for the Speed part, or the Speed deck, I should say, is Zergo Helm Smasher. He's a card that will be featured in the upcoming Khans of Tarkir block that releases at the tail end of this month. But he's a red, white, black legendary orc warrior. We'll go over what each of these cards do once I actually unbox it and get to the cards. And then for the Cunning Deck, we have a new art of Arcanus the Omnipotent. Pretty solid art as far as I'm concerned. I mean, getting new art for you know, old school cards is always pretty cool in my opinion. But let's flip it around here. You'll have to excuse the glare on the package. Just the actual plastic wrap that's around this is just glaring off my overhead light, so you'll have to excuse the glare. But yeah, we'll flip it around here and take a look what's on the back. Shrieking hordes confront tactical masters. And we have, you know, that little phrase here on the top. We get some previews of some of the cards that are in some of the decks. You know, you got little paragraphs for both decks here. And as far as the contents go, you have the two 60-card decks, you have two deck boxes, two creature tokens, a strategy insert, and a magic rules reference card. So, as far as the contents of the box, that is what is inside here in the Speed versus Cunning. But without further ado, let's crack this open and see what kind of cards we get. Let me just bring this around here. There we go. Had a little derp moment there trying to get this open. I'm actually a pretty big fan of the Duel decks myself. I've actually gotten pretty much every single one since they first started making them with the original Elves vs. Goblins Duel deck. But let's get this unboxed. Here we have the two front and center cards. You got Zergo Helm Smasher and Arcanus the Omnipotent. Here you have the two decks. We'll get into those momentarily. Here is the Speed deck, and this is the Cunning deck. Get this out of the way. Put these up here for right now. Here you have the two deck boxes. You have the deck box for the Speed deck and the deck box for the Cunning deck. So, and pretty simple here. If you actually want to use these, you just fold them out, fold this tab in, fold these flaps down, and there you have yourself a nice little deck box. If you don't want to sleeve your cards, you probably do want to sleeve them if you want them to stay in good condition. But there's one deck box. Here is the deck box for the Cunning deck. We'll just pop this up real quick here. And we have the Cunning deck box. Here you have the little insert here that tells you the deck lists of both decks. You got the Speed deck here. You got a nice picture of Zergo there, and on the other side you've got Arcanus. Apologize for the camera getting shifted there. See if we can just readjust real quick. There we go. And here you have the rules reference card. Okay, so let's take a look at the front and center cards first. Here we have Zergo Helm Smasher. He's a 5-cost, 7/2 with haste. He's a legendary orc warrior. He attacks each combat if able, and he has indestructible as long as it's your turn, which is pretty cool. And it says, whenever a creature dealt damage by Zergo Helm Smasher this turn dies, put a +1/+1 counter on Zergo Helm Smasher. So he's pretty solid if you ask me. So that is the... he will be the leader of the Mardu clan, I believe it's called, in the upcoming Khans of Tarkir set that we'll be releasing at the tail end of this month. So that's Zergo Helm Smasher. And then we have Arcanus the Omnipotent, 6 cost 3/4, legendary wizard. You can tap him to draw 3 cards, and then you can pay forward or bounce him to your hand, which makes him pretty hard to kill if you have the mana available to use that ability. So those are the 2 foil cards in both decks, Zergo Helm Smasher and Arcanus the Omnipotent. So we're just going to stick those guys right back here for right now. So let's crack open the speed deck first, which is helmed by Zergo Helm Smasher. Okay, the first card here we have is a Hell's Thunder. Oh, we got a Krenko Mob Boss, a Ogre Battle Driver, a Fury of the Horde. That's pretty nice, a Banefire. And we get a Goblin Token. Then we have a Frenzied Goblin, a Infantry Veteran, a Leonin Snarecaster, another Leonin Snarecaster. We have a Dregscape Zombie, another one of that. And we have a Goblin Death Raiders. And we have a Hellraiser Goblin. We have a new art of Fleshbag Marauder, which actually looks pretty cool. Goblin Warchief, which is pretty cool as well. A Cathari Bomber. A Shambling Remains. Here's one of the new cards from the upcoming Khans of Tarkir set. We have a Mardu Heart Piercer. He's a 4 cost 2/3 with a new ability called Raid, which triggers whenever this card enters the battlefield if you attacked with a creature during your turn. So this guy reads, whenever he enters the battlefield, if you attacked with a creature this turn, Mardu Heart Piercer deals 2 damage to target creature or player. So basically, if you attack with at least a creature during your turn, and then during your second main phase you cast this, it will shock a creature or player, which is pretty cool. And we got a Beetleback Chief, another Beetleback Chief. We have a Flamekin Zealot. We have a Scourge Devil. We have a Oni of Wild Places. Reckless Abandon. And we have a Shock. We have a Bone Splinters. We have a Arc Trail. Goblin Bombardment, which is pretty nice. We have a Krenko's Command. Another Krenko's Command. An Act of Treason. Dauntless Onslaught. A Orcish Cannonade. A Fiery Fall. Another Fiery Fall. And then we get into the land base. See, we have 2 Evolving Wilds. And we have a Gitu Encampment. One of the new tri-colored lands is, some of you know, Shards of Alara. That block had lands that produced 3 colors for each wedge. And this set seems to have the same. So here we have a Nomad Outpost, which produces red, white, and black. We have 2 of them. Another Goblin Token. And then you just have some basic mountains, some basic plains, and some basic swamps. So that is the Speed deck. Some pretty solid stuff in there. The Krenko is pretty cool. I mean, some of the you know, just to go through them again, just to kind of point out the Goblin Bombardment. I think that's pretty nice. Just trying to find some of the, you know, Beetleback Chief is cool. You know, here is one of the new cards, the Mardu Heartpiercer. Goblin War Chief is pretty sweet. You know, a new art of Fleshbag Marauder, which is really cool. You know, and then you get some just really basic stuff. Here we get a Banefire. That's really nice, I think. You know, just going over the cards that I think are really good from the deck. You know, Fury of the Horde, Ogre Battle Driver, Krenko Mob Boss. Yeah, I mean, it had some pretty solid cards in it. Let's see if the Cunning Deck has some really cool stuff in it as well. So far, I'm pretty pleased. The Speed deck seems to have some pretty solid cards in it. Let's go to the Cunning Deck, and as we can see, the first card in this deck is a Lightning Angel, which is pretty cool. I believe the last time we saw that, it was a time-shifted card from Time Spiral, I believe. So there we have Lightning Angel. Here's one of the new cards from Khans of Tarkir, Thousand Winds. It's a 6-cost, 5/6 flyer with Morph. For 5 colorless and 2 blue. And for those of you that don't know what Morph is, basically, if a card has Morph, you can play the card face down as a 2/2 creature for 3 colorless mana, and then you may turn it face up at any time for its Morph cost. So if you do play this for 3 colorless mana as just a vanilla 2/2 creature, and then you pay 5 colorless and 2 blue, and you turn it face up and morph it, essentially, it says, whenever Thousand Winds is turned face up, return all other tapped creatures to their owner's hands. So that's pretty nice. Kind of like a Sunblast Angel from Scars of Mirrodin, except it doesn't destroy all the creatures, it just bounces them to their owner's hands. So yeah, I mean, that's not a bad card. Here we have a Sphinx of Uthun, a Hold the Line from, I believe that was from Kamigawa originally. We have a Steam Augury. Here's another new card, a Jeskai Elder, a 2-cost 1/2 with Prowess. Prowess is whenever you cast a non-creature spell, this creature gets +1/+1 until end of turn. Seems kind of like a underwhelming ability, honestly, but you know, maybe it'll be good. And then also, whenever Jeskai Elder deals combat damage to a player, you may draw a card. If you do, discard a card. So that's not too bad, I suppose. So there's a Jeskai Elder. Then we have a Fairy Imposter, another Fairy Imposter, a Coral Trickster, second Coral Trickster, a Fathom Seer, another Fathom Seer, Willbender, which is pretty cool. We have a Spark Mage Apprentice, a Lone Missionary, a Master Decoy. Just trying to make it so my hand isn't blocking some of the cards here. We have a Echo Tracer, a Core Hookmaster, a Stone Cloaker, a Aquamorph Entity, another Aquamorph Entity, a Hussar Patrol, Fairy Invaders, a Fleeting Distraction, Stave Off, Swift Justice, Impulse, Mana Leak, a Lightning Helix, which is pretty cool. Would have liked to see new art on that card, but actually I believe they did new art for it for Ajani versus Nico Bolas, which actually had really cool art, but Lightning Helix is pretty sweet. We have an Inferno Trap, Traumatic Visions, another Traumatic Visions, a Whiplash Trap, Arrow Volley Trap, a Repeal. Here's the blue, red, white tricolor land, Mystic Monastery. A second one of it. And then we get into the land base. You got 2 Terramorphic Expanse. And you got some basic islands, some basic mountains, and some basic plains. So the Cunning Deck, I guess not too bad overall. I would have to say the Speed Deck had some overall better stuff in it. I mean, don't get me wrong, this deck had some pretty cool cards in it. Just feels like this deck is really heavy on spells. But, you know, if you're trying to be cunning, you're probably playing a lot of spells. Just, I feel like, you know, a lot of these cards are pretty underwhelming. Just trying to find some of the, you know, better cards. I mean, Stonecloaker is okay. I feel like the Speed Deck just had more rares in it, I feel like. I mean, Will Bender's pretty cool. I mean, you get a lot of morph stuff in the Cunning Deck. But overall, kind of, you know, there's the Jeskai Elder, one of the new cards. I mean, a Steam Augury is a rare. You know, it's a pretty solid card. You know, Hold the Line, Sphinx of Uthun, Thousand Winds, and Lightning Angel. I mean, I don't know if the other deck had the same amount of rares. Just feels like the Speed Deck had overall better cards in it. At least, you know, from my standpoint. You know, I'm kind of when I build decks, you know, I like to beat face with creatures personally. But, you know, overall, not too bad. I feel like the Speed Deck is an overall better deck, I feel like, than the Cunning Deck. But, you know, if you're a different style player than I am, you know, maybe you'll like the Cunning Deck better. But that is the 2 decks from the newest Duel deck, Speed versus Cunning. Hope you guys enjoyed this unboxing video. We're going to try to do, you know, something like this every Friday. So whether it be, you know, something like this, a new product, booster packs, fat packs, booster boxes, you know, stuff like that. You know, we're just going to try to open up some products for you guys every Friday. And this Friday, Speed vs. Cunning happened to come out, so we figured we'd do a video for that for you guys. But yeah, thanks for watching this video, guys. Like, comment, subscribe, all that stuff. If you have any ideas or suggestions of things you'd like to see us unbox, you know, throw out a comment and we will take it into consideration. But this has been Jay with Tap and Turn Gaming, and this has been Unboxing Friday with the Speed vs. Cunning deck. Hope you guys enjoyed it again, and thanks for watching. We'll catch you later.